Hello guys, this is Revolution. So, there are still some people out there who believe that future Zeno only destroyed Universe 7 in the future timeline where future Trunks was from in the future Trunks arc, when he destroyed Astral Zamasu, otherwise known as Universal Zamasu. Well, it's time to smoke out this nonsense, so I'm going to tell you why future Zeno didn't just erase Universe 7, he didn't just erase the multiverse, but erased far more than that as well, and literally massacred everybody who still remained in those universes, potentially including future Jiren and future Broly, and potentially beyond that, the Grand Priest and his own attendants. Talking of his attendants and the Grand Priest, whilst we've seen the Grand Priest showcase a vast array of abilities, we haven't quite seen as much from Zeno's attendants. These beings seem to be guarding Zeno at all times and have even multiplied in number since future Zeno came along, and now there's 4 of them. How strong are these guys? Are they stronger than the Grand Priest? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments section. Whilst you're doing that, this channel really is going from strength to strength. I'm seeing more and more people getting involved in the Dragon Ball discussions that I present on Revolution, and it's a pleasure talking to you about Dragon Ball every day. Please do keep smashing that like button, keep lending me your energy, and if you want to go a step further, please do hit that share button just underneath the video and share it on any social media platform that you are a part of. So, did Zeno eliminate the entire future Trunks timeline from existence? Well, if you look at the kind of plane that he's in after erasing Astral Zamasu, it really is an abstract kind of verse. It's hard to determine what kind of verse future Zeno was floating in, but we know that Universe 7 is at least gone. Now, it's not just Universe 7 that he's destroyed. He has destroyed the entirety of the Dragon Ball multiverse. We know that in the Dragon Ball multiverse there's at least 12 universes, each most likely macrocosms 3 times the very size of our universe. We know that there used to be 18, but the Omni King Zeno smacked them up because they pissed him off. Even though I have low-key hopes that Android 17's wish from the Tournament's power did bring those 6 previously erased universes back. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Anyway, I digress. There's 12 universes, and we know all these universes do exist in the future Trunks timeline. It's not just an alternate timeline of Universe 7. We know this well because future Zamasu in that timeline is from Universe 10. Goku Black also talks about killing the Supreme Kais of each universe in order to kill the Gods of Destructions of those universes. As we know, Supreme Kais and the Gods of Destructions are linked. And then of course there's future Zeno, the very being who we are literally talking about in this video. He exists, so therefore Zen's realm must exist where he lives in his mansion alongside his attendants and most likely the Grand Priest. Now, we've covered this many times before on Revolution, but Zeno's palace is on some giant jellyfish-like creature that is literally floating through the reality, whatever reality that is. And Zeno's palace is atop of this, surrounded by 12 pillars, each withholding an orb of reality, with each orb of reality representing a universe. Obviously, when you see these on screen in the animation, these universes, these orbs of reality tend to look a bit small in comparison to the rest of the things on screen. This could be down to 2 things. It could just be the animators messing up proportions on the animation, or it could be dimensional transcendentalism, things looking smaller than what they actually are. If you follow Doctor Who, you'll be very familiar with dimensional transcendentalism. Now, I'm not just pulling this out my arse because we've seen Zeno and future Zeno play a game where they're flicking planets and galaxies and ultimately destroying these things. Now, these appear far smaller than Zeno, and as we know, Zeno's about 2 foot tall, which leads me to believe that the orbs of reality surrounding Zeno's palace is an effect of dimensional transcendentalism. Whichever way you spin it, these orbs of reality contain the universes themselves, a space-time continuum, and in Dragon Ball's case, a macrocosm. So obviously in the future Trunks saga, Astral Zamasu literally transcended time and space. He spread not just throughout the universe, but into the rest of the multiverse, but into the present timeline as well. He managed to cross a higher dimensional axis to be able to protrude into the present timeline. Obviously, pretty conveniently, 15 or so episodes before this, Goku was given something called the Zeno button, where when Goku presses one side of it, it literally calls upon the Omni King himself, and he appears right in front of Goku. Goku and Vegeta, without being able to power up to Super Saiyan Blue at least, and this is what Goku actually implied. He actually implied if he could turn Super Saiyan Blue, he might be able to do something about it, but he couldn't, so he called upon Zeno. Zeno arrived and literally said, a world like this shouldn't exist. Then he clapped Astral Zamasu. Astral Zamasu was completely erased. Even the version that protruded into the present timeline was erased as well. Obviously Goku and the gang that were in that universe when Zeno was literally pulling this feat off had to escape using the time machine, but of course Goku and Future Trunks returned in order to collect Zeno and obviously bring him back to the present timeline. Like I said, Zeno was in this distorted reality, this abstract reality. We don't truly know what it is. It's never been described by any interview or in any guidebook, etc. But it almost represents a blank page per se. I'm not saying it definitely is that, but you know, it has that bright luminous colour, and those little shards in the background may be destroyed realities, who knows. We do see this kind of imagery in the Tournament of Power as well after Zeno's just erased the universe. Ultimately, it's the space you get when a 3 and 4 dimensional time-space continuum has been wiped out. Ultimately, it'd have to be a space that could withhold a universe itself, a higher level of infinity than a 3 and 4 dimensional construct. But Zeno was just floating around in there, completely unaffected by his own erasure technique. That was far too much smoke for an immortal metaphysical being that could cross a 5th dimensional axis, Astral Zamasu. Now here's why he destroyed far more than the multiverse. If Zeno wanted to go home, he would be able to. He was able to create the Zeno button for Goku, which ultimately allowed him to transport to Goku's location. Zeno is capable of teleportation, not just from within a multiversal range, but from his home realm, from his own palace, his own house, whatever you want to call it. Zeno's capable of that range of teleportation. Even if Zeno wasn't the person who created that Zeno button, then you could look at the Grand Priest, who has portal creation abilities. We saw in episode 78, the Grand Priest warped into Universe 7's Supreme World of the Kais in order to give them information about the Tournament of Power. He did this from Zeno's palace. The Grand Priest was even able to open the gates to the World of Void and teleport universal teams to the Tournament of Power stage from the universes. This is an impressive feat. Why? Because we know that Shin the Supreme Kai with his Kai technique, which is teleportation ultimately, is able to teleport to Zeno's realm. Even Whis cannot travel to Zeno's realm even though he is the fastest in the universe. Well, actually, I'll take that back. Maybe it's not that he isn't able to travel there, but it would take him a long time to do so. Zeno's palace from Universe 7 is really far. This is the guy who was able to travel to Universe 10 in order to check up on Gowasu and Zamasu in the present timeline in a short space of time, ultimately proving that he is a massively faster than light character capable of multiversal travel. Shouldn't really come as a surprise, as we know that Vados travelled to Universe 7 as well. The point is, the World of Void is even further away than Zeno's palace from Universe 7, and that the Grand Priest was able to teleport numerous people from Universe 7 to the World of Void, as well as from other universes as well. If he still existed within the future timeline, he would have been able to retrieve Zeno if Zeno wasn't able to return to Zeno's palace on his own accord. Then of course there's Zeno's gods, and like I said earlier in this video, we haven't seen a major amount of feats from these guys, but we do know that they have portal creation as well, and at the end of the God of Destruction tournament between Universe 6 and Universe 7, we saw them use teleportation to take Zeno back to his palace. Quite frankly put, there's no reason why Zeno couldn't return to his palace. The reason he couldn't was because it's not there anymore. Zeno destroyed everything. And to top it off, we know that Whis is capable of time travel. In episode 67, he told Future Trunks and Mai that he will go and visit Beerus of that alternate timeline to warn him about the rebelling Zamasu. Therefore, he will be able to take Zeno back to his palace in the future timeline if it still existed there, if he had only destroyed Universe 7, or if he'd only destroyed the multiverse. I mean, destroying a multiverse wouldn't be that hard to comprehend Zeno doing anyway, as it was revealed after the Tournament of Power that if 17 made the wrong wish, Zeno was going to erase everything, all 12 universes, all 12 macrocosms. Zeno and Future Zeno were popping universes casually in the Tournament of Power, not just the universes, but literally erasing gods of destructions and gods of creations as well as powerful warriors that belong to those universes. And like I said, the World of Void was really far away from the universes, so Zeno's range for this erasure technique is absolutely incredible. Now, a lot of people have always wondered and questioned whether Goku Black and Future Zamasu ever came across Jiren in the future timeline. A lot of people believe they only went around killing the Supreme Kais in order to kill the gods of destructions and hadn't quite got round to killing all the mortals in those universes yet, even though in episode 65 Merge Zamasu claimed that the Zero Mortals plan would be complete after the annihilation of Goku and Vegeta. But as we know, Jiren is an absolute monster in terms of power. He would have absolutely wiped the floor with Goku Black in future Zamasu. So did he still exist in the future? Well, it doesn't really matter because Zeno would have erased him anyway. And then of course, Broly hasn't appeared in the future timeline either because Goku and Vegeta aren't on Earth. There's been no reason to bring him to Earth. And obviously we don't know the full story behind Broly's character yet, but you would imagine that he would be somewhere around Universe 7 in the future timeline. Well, it wouldn't matter because Zeno erased him anyway. And of course, Universe 7 also incorporates the cosmos, which holds hell and heaven in the universe. Of course, future Goku, future Gohan, even future Vegeta, future Piccolo should all be somewhere in either hell or heaven in the future timeline. You would imagine future Goku will be training with the King Kai of that universe. They all got erased. Future Zeno simply massacred everything and everyone in that timeline. Well, everyone that remained or who had survived the Zero Mortals plan from Goku Black and future Zamasu. In terms of a coherent narrative, it would make no sense for future Zeno to be in the present timeline if his palace in the future still existed, if his realm in the future still existed, because that's his home. The Omni King Zeno is an absolute monster. Anyway guys, that's all for this video. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments section. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed. Keep smashing that like button. Keep lending me your energy. Until next time, Ad Astra.